Hello students, I am Professor SB from the Electrical Department. Today we will go towards the first unit of the Electrical and Electronics Measurement subject. So the first unit of measurement subject, Fundamentals of Measurement. So firstly, we should know the what is in measurement and the measuring instrument. So, what is meant by measurement? It is the process of conversion of physical parameters into meaningful numbers is called as measurement. That means what? We have to convert the physical parameters into numerical values, and the process which is going to conversion, it is called as the measurement. So, in the measurement, we are also compare the unknown quantity with significant unit. We have to compare the unknown quantity with known quantity or with the standard value, but it should have the significant unit. It is also measurement. So what is in my measurement process? It is the process by which we are comparing the unknown quantity with standard value with significant unit. For the measurement, we have the instrument or we are using the instruments. So, what is it by measuring instruments? That the measuring instrument is the instruments which are used for the measurement of quantity, that is called as measuring instruments. The instruments which is used to measure the unknown quantity or the magnitude of the unknown quantity is called as measuring instrument. So, there is again classification of measuring instrument. So, the measuring instruments are classified mainly into two types. First one is the absolute instruments and second one is the secondary instruments. So for the absolute instrument and the secondary instrument, what is it by absolute instrument? The instruments which measures the magnitude of the quantity in terms of constant of the value. That instruments are called as absolute instruments, and that instruments measures the quantity indirectly. These instruments measure quantity indirectly in terms of deflection, degree and the meter constant. So these instruments are called as the absolute instruments. The examples of absolute instruments are like that: tangent galvanometer, current balance meter. So these instruments are nothing but our absolute instruments. Now, what is meant by secondary instrument? The secondary instruments are the instruments which are measures the quantity under measurement directly. That means it gives the direct measurement of any quantity, like the current, voltage, wattmeter. By these parameters, we can guess the direct value, or we can measure the direct quantity of the parameter. And the examples of these instruments are nothing but ammeter, voltmeter and wattmeter. So these are the main two classification of measuring instruments, absolute and the secondary. So absolute instruments measure quantity in terms of constant value or the degree of constant, and the secondary instruments measures the quantity by the deflection value. So these secondary instruments again classified into three types. First one is the indicating, second one is the integrating, and third one is the recording instrument. These secondary instruments classified into three types. First one is indicating, second one is the integrating, and third one is the recording instruments. So we have to learn these three instruments in shortly. So first one, we will go for the first, that is our indicating instrument. So these indicating instruments that gives the magnitude of quantity instantaneous value. It gives the instantaneous value of the quantity under measurement. That indication is generally in the form of scale, dial and pointer arrangement. So like that indicating instrument, our ammeter, voltmeter, wattmeter, whenever we are connecting, these instruments can directly reads the instantaneous value and gives the reading. We can measure quantity directly. So first one is the indicating instrument. Second one is nothing but your integrating instrument. So these integrating instruments integrates the quantity under measurements over a period of time. That means it totalizes the events over a specific period of time. It sums one or more quantities and gives one finalized result. That means it integrates, it summarizes or it add the two or three parameters, one or two parameters and gives integrating value. Therefore, these instruments are called as the integrating instruments. The example of these integrating instruments are, best example is energy meter, and we know that what is in the energy, it is the power consumed by over a time period. Within a specific time period, how many power is consumed? That means here power is one quantity and time is another quantity. In how much time, how much power is used, that these two parameters, two quantities get integrates and gives the one finalized result, and that means nothing but your energy. So the energy meter is the best example of our integrating instrument. Last one is the recording instrument. The recording instruments is used for such purpose like that some processes require continuous record of measured quantity, and these instruments gives continuous record of variations of the quantity being measured. Whenever we are going to measure the quantities in the substation, ampere, current, voltage, power factor, like that, we have to notice the variation of these parameters, and we have to also keep the record of these all the parameters over the specific time period. So the instruments which is used to record over a continuous time period, that instruments are recording instruments, and at that time we are using the recording type of instruments for the variation of quantity. These instruments sense means of the suitable sensors and gives the variations and plot on the one graph. The examples of these recording instruments are temperature variation in the furnace, supply voltage variation in the substation, electrocardiogram, that is our ECG of a person, and earthquake measuring system. These are the best examples of the recording instruments. So this is the measurement and type of measurement instruments.